Hi, welcome to Transport Vlog. My name is Paul Thomas and today I am at Sandgate Station. Sandgate Station is on the Hunter Line from Newcastle to Maitland and it's really busy for freight trains. Really long freight trains. I mean long, like really long trains, as you're going to see in a moment. It's also extremely busy here as well. I'll explain why during this video. Now, I'm no expert on freight locomotives and freight wagons, but as someone said to me a long time ago, sometimes the best way to learn something is to teach it, which I suppose is what I'm kind of doing in this video. And hopefully we can all learn about Australian freight locos in a bit more detail through this video. So I'll be learning, I'm sure you'll be learning, and we can all learn together. Sandgate is on the outskirts of Newcastle. It's about 160 kilometres from Sydney. Sandgate Station has 6 lines. The middle 2 are the up and down main. These are used by both passenger and freight trains. The next 2 lines are technically known as the up and down North Fork, although for this video I'm going to call them the up and down Kooragang lines. These 2 lines diverge off to the left shortly after Sandgate Station and head to the port on Kooragang Island. The Kooragang lines are only used by coal trains and were the busiest on the day I was filming. The up and down coal lines, as their name suggests, are only used by freight trains. This is more for trains that are going to the Carrington port closer to Newcastle, and to access other lines such as the main line to Sydney. Although known as the coal lines, they are used by other types of freight trains. This is the view from Sandgate looking towards Maitland. You have the coal lines on the left, the main lines in the middle, and the Kooragang lines on the right. And this is the view looking towards Newcastle, so the Kooragang lines are now on the left. And here you can see the Kooragang lines diverging off to the left. And here is how it looks from the train. I'm going to start with the more common locos that I saw, and then towards the end of this video I'll cover some of the rarer ones. The most common loco by far was the UGL Rail C44ac1. This one is on the up coal line. There are 158 UGL Rail C44ac1 locomotives in service. They are spread across a number of different operators and each one gives them a different class number. On this day I primarily saw Pacific National and One Rail locos, so I'll start with Pacific National. The locos built in 2008 and 2009 were designated 92 class. There are 15 of these locos in service. The 93 class are slightly more powerful and were built more recently. This one was built in 2012 and this one was built in 2015. The 92 class have 3,185 kilowatts or 4,270 horsepower, and the 93 class are slightly more powerful at 3,246 kilowatts or 4,350 horsepower. The C44ac1 locos are 22 metres long and weigh 134 tonnes. Here are the same 3 locos returning in the opposite direction on the down coal line. Now approaching on the up Kooragang line are 3 locos, a 93 class at the front, then a 92 and then another 93 class. Genesee and Wyoming, which have recently become One Rail, are another operator of the UGL Rail C44ac1 locomotive. This one's on the down Kurrangong line. The three locos on this train were all built in 2010 and have the prefix XRN. There are 30 locos with the XRN prefix. The first 10 were built in 2010, the second 10 in 2011 and the final 10 in 2012. Appearing behind this train are two 6020 class locomotives and a 6000 class loco. These are the C44ac1 locos that are owned by Aurizon. The full coal hoppers are going towards the port on Kurrangong Island and the empties are coming back the other way. Besides the 30 XRN locos, One Rail also has 11 GWU locos. The first 9 GWU locos were built in 2012, the same year as the final 10 XRN locos. All the One Rail locos, being more recently built, have the same higher power rating as the 93 class that I mentioned earlier. This footage is quite fuzzy because it's very zoomed in. However, you can now see this freight train branching off to the left, away from the main line, and heading to the docks at Kurrangong Island. I found a cab ride video from Kurrangong Island to Maitland, so I'll put a link to that in the description below. Here are the same locos returning from Kurrangong Island a little while later. All 158 of these locomotives were built at Broadmeadow, so very close to Newcastle, and they were built by UGR, UGL and General Electric. Those were 3 of the first batch of 10 XRN class locos. I'll put all the loco numbers in the description below. And here are the same 3 locos returning with the empty coal hoppers a little while later. Heading up this train is the newest loco you'll see in this video. It's GWU011 and it came into service last year, 2020. Notice that it also has the new One Rail branding. Kooragang lines diverge from the coal lines just west of Sandgate Station. The main lines go up onto a flyover to allow the Kooragang lines to pass underneath. You can see the flyover in the distance here. Trains that stay on the coal lines follow the route that you can see here. So these are 502 class locomotives. The first one was built in 2011 and the second one in 2014. The 5020 class is based on the UGL Rail C44ac1 loco that we covered earlier. Weighing in at 180 tonnes, they are restricted to the Hunter Valley routes. At the back is a 5000 class loco. These are the same locos returning later in the day. Coming into view shortly is the 5000 class locomotive on the rear. This was built in 2005. All the 5000 and 5020 class locomotives are owned by Aurizon. There are 12 5000 class locomotives and 25 class 502 locos. Most of these locos were built by UGL in Broadmeadow, although some of the 502 class locos were built at Xplorers. Both classes have the same GE7FDL turbocharged 4-stroke V16 engine. However, the 502 class have a greater power output at 3248 kilowatts, which is 4355 horsepower. Let's take a little break from freight and cover some Hunter Railcars. Hunter Railcars operate most of the passenger services on the Hunter line, including some that stop at Sandgate and some that don't. now see this Hunter rail car going over the flyover. The Hunter rail cars were built by UGL Rail in 2006 and 2007. There are 14 carriages which make up 7 two-car sets, which isn't quite enough to go around. Keep watching and you'll see what I mean. This Hunter rail car now disappears over the other side of the flyover. Now coming into view are 3 90 class locos. There are 35 90 class locomotives, and the vast majority of them, including these 3, were built in 1994. All 90 class locos are owned by the Pacific National Coal Division. They were specifically built for the Hunter Valley coal workings, so you're unlikely to see them anywhere else on the network. The first 31 locos were built in London, Ontario in Canada. The engine is an EMD 710 G3A turbocharged 2-stroke V16. The loco on the back is not a 90 class, I'll cover this in a moment. The traction power of the 90 class is 2,860 kilowatts, which is 3,840 horsepower. Another quick break from freight. You remember I mentioned that there weren't enough Hunter sets to go around? So some Endeavour sets are used to make up the numbers. Coming into view now are 2 Downer EDI Rail GT46C-ACe locomotives. Wow, that's a bit of a mouthful. There are 82 of these locos, and Pacific National own 49 of them. These 2 locos were built in 2013 and 2009 respectively. There is also a TT loco on the rear of this train. This one was also built in 2009. On the up main are 2 more of these locos. These are owned by SCT. These 2 locos were built slightly earlier in 2007. 79 of these locos were built just down the road in Cardiff. SCT stands for Specialised Container Transport, and their services span a number of states including WA, New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. Sorry for the sun rays getting in the way here and in other parts of this video. I am looking for ways to stop this happening, and if you can recommend a sunlight filter or other solution for the iPhone 11, please let me know in the comments. So the first loco is an NR class. I'll talk about those more in a moment. And the 2 locos behind that have numbers starting with LDP are another type of the GT46C-ACe locomotive. There are 9 locos in this number series. They're all owned by Pacific National. The first 3 were built in 2008 and the remaining locos in 2009. They are typically used as trailing units on Pacific National's East Coast freight services. All GT46C-ACe locomotives have an EMD 710G3C turbocharged 2-stroke V16 engine. This provides 3,210 kilowatts of traction, which is 4,300 horsepower, and their weight varies from 134 to 139 tons. Approaching the platform now is a container train hauled by two NR class locomotives. The first loco was built in 1996 and the second one in 1997. There are 120 NR class locomotives in total. They were built by Goninen, with the first 60 built at Broadmeadow, with the remainder, which includes these two locos, being built at Bassendean in WA. NR class locomotives also haul the Great Southern Railway's services such as the Indian Pacific and the Ghan, and some of these locos have special liveries for these services. All NR class locomotives are owned by Pacific National. They typically haul interstate intermodal trains such as this one, but also steel trains as well. The first loco is an NR class, and that was built in 1997. The third loco is also an NR class, and that was built 1 year earlier in 1996. Sandwiched in the middle of the two NR class locos is an AN class. This one was built in 1993 and there are 10 in total. The builder is Clyde/EMD and they were built in Somerton in Victoria. These days they are mainly used as support locomotives, which means that they will normally be sandwiched between a couple of NR class locos. The AN class were the last new locomotives ordered by Australian National before its sell-off in 1997. They normally haul Pacific National interstate, steel and intermodal services. Interestingly, the AN class has exactly the same engine as the 90 class that I covered earlier. Now for a couple of Xplorers. The first one is the Armadale and Moree service. And here's the return service going to Sydney Central. Coming into view now is an 82 class, a 48 class and an 81 class. Listen out for the distinctive sound of the 48 class. This 48 class loco was built in 1970, so that makes it the oldest loco seen today. This 82 class was built in 1994. There are 58 in total. And this 81 class was built in 1984. There are 83 in total. This unusual loco coming into view now is a 1200 class, and behind it are two RL class locomotives. This is one of two 1200 class locomotives. These were built in the US in 2012. And with only two built, it's the rarest loco seen today. The first RL locomotive was built in 2007 and the second one was built in 2006. There are 10 in total and most are owned by Southern Short Haul Railroad. They were built at Islington in South Australia. Now a couple of XPTs. The first one is the Grafton service. And just about to come over the flyover is the Sydney XPT. This service started at Grafton. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, some of these freight trains, especially the coal trains, are exceptionally long. So I'm going to finish this video by showing you uninterrupted footage of a whole train that's coming from Kooragang Island. It's headed by three 90 class locomotives. I'll try and keep you informed and entertained along the way with a little bit of commentary now and again. If you're up for it, see if you can test your concentration skills by counting the number of coal hoppers. I'll provide regular count updates to keep you on track. Approaching the bridge now is the fourth hopper. You can get a good look inside the coal hoppers from this bridge. If you're counting this as the 12th coal hopper, this is 1 minute after the start of the train. The locos are now passing under a road bridge that you can see in the distance. So I've counted 20 coal hoppers so far. How many do you think there are in total? Do you think there's more than 100? Keep watching to find out. Listen out for the domino effect as the train brakes. So what was your favourite freight loco in this video, or generally? For me, it's the 81 class. And it's partly because it looks a bit like the Class 50, which was my favourite loco in the UK. Anyway, let me know your favourite in the comments below. Now 2 minutes since the start of the train, and it's now beginning to accelerate. Now at 40 coal hoppers, and I don't think we're even halfway yet. I reckon that by now the front of the train has gone under the main lines and has joined the down coal line. Now at 60 coal hoppers, this train just keeps going and going and going. Now 3 minutes since the start of the train. You can now support Transport Vlog on Patreon and receive special perks. These include early access to my new videos, exclusive videos that you won't see here on YouTube, and live Zoom chats with me. To find out more, go to patreon.com/transportvlog or click the link in the description below. Now at 80 coal hoppers. I feel we might be on the home straight now, but will it be more than 100? Keep watching. Won't be long before you find out. So I counted 96 coal hoppers there. I'm not sure if you were counting, but if you got a different number, do let me know in the comments. And this whole train took around 4 minutes to pass through Sandgate Station. So this concludes my video at Sandgate Station that was mainly focused on the freight trains. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and do leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you have any questions, leave those below as well, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.